I want to cancel my brother's wedding. Plus, all updates. I, female 31, have a brother, male 28, who is hoping to get married to his fiancée, female 25. They have been in a relationship for a long time, have kids and a house together, so she isn't someone who's new to the family. We're all European, but I own a gorgeous house in Colorado. It is in the middle of the mountains, surrounded by forests, has huge windows looking out on my acres surrounding text. It truly is stunning, and a dream come true. A couple of months ago, my brother came to me and asked me if they could use my house for a destination wedding. While I was hesitant to host a goddamn wedding in the house of my dreams, I can absolutely understand how my dream home is her dream venue. I told him they absolutely could, but had some rules, despite me not living there. No more than 25 guests. It truly is in the middle of nowhere, so guests would have to sleep at the house, and I simply do not have room for more. Nothing that permanently alters anything in or around the house. No smoking indoors. Any damage done by them or their guests would have to be paid for. Since I'm quite protective of the house, I offered to decorate and find a caterer, and that'd be my gift to them. So, I'm providing them with a venue, food, and decorations. I am currently almost 10K into my gift, because it's my brother's wedding and it's what I wanted to do. Now shit has hit the fan. His fiancée decided she needed at least 45 guests, while I was willing to be flexible by 1 or 2, but 20? Nah. I asked her if she wanted to stack them and she got salty. On top of that, she wants me to pay to fly her family in, because I fronted the money to my other brother. He is paying me back, because he couldn't afford a ticket. I told her no, and again I got sassed. On top of that, she wants me to build a pergola, which I actually considered, paint my living room, cover up the beautiful wood, so fuck no, and also pay for the drinks. I said no, I've done enough. She has now taken it upon herself to tell people I'm coming back on my promises, that I left her hanging, that she can't afford the super expensive wedding I made her plan, and even went as far as to uninvite my grandparents, just to spite me. Her word were, "You wanted me to cut back on guests, so I'm picking your family." I'm getting at least 2 messages a day asking me why I'm ruining her day, if I'm jealous. Today, she called me to tell me that if I keep going out of my way to make her miserable, I and my rescues, 2 of my children are adopted, would not be invited either. While I find it absurd that she thinks she can uninvite me from my own house, the fact that she referred to my kids as rescues has me absolutely fuming. I am considering canceling the whole thing, but be royally fucking over my brother in the process, who has done nothing wrong. So, is her shit show overshadowing my need to protect my brother from a giant financial hole? I don't know. Edit to add, I do not live in CO. We all live in our home country in Europe. Edit 2. My brother's age had a typo. WIBTA? Update 4 days later. Hiya all. As an update was requested a decent amount of times, here I am letting you guys know how it all went. First, I do want to address one thing. To those claiming I am an asshole because I am contributing to the housing crisis by owning a house I don't live in, I am not. This is a house so deep in the mountains I need to drive 50 minutes to go do groceries. The internet is so crappy, I am waiting for even Starlink to start covering the area, and when it snows, you sure as shit aren't going anywhere. This is not a house built for living in full time. On top of that, it was on the market for close to 2 years and in complete disrepair. I did not steal some family's home. No one wanted it. The fact that it is a dream home is because I spent a year of my life restoring the whole thing myself. Now, onto the update. I heard they were visiting my parents and I drove down as well, mostly because I wanted people present to witness the conversation. I told her and my brother that since my home did not suit her needs, and it was stressing her out to the point that she was calling my children names, I no longer felt like I was giving them the appropriate gift by supplying a venue, caterer, and decorations. I said that I felt like in my efforts to protect my home, I was limiting their options too much, standing in the way of their dream wedding, and as a result would no longer be hosting. My brother seemed relieved, admitted to not quite wanting a destination wedding and that things got a little out of hand during the planning phase, thanked me for my willingness to help, and offered to pay me back for the deposits I'm losing, which I appreciated but declined. His SO, however, accused me of being petty and jealous because I'm single and no one wants me, and going out of my way to cause her stress and ruin her day. She then pointed at my 2 youngest children and said, "You're doing more for strangers than you are your own family." The kids are luckily young enough so they didn't catch on to this, but my older 2 did, and were absolutely shocked. So were my parents. I told her she had all of 3 seconds to get out of my line of sight before I would be bringing hellfire down on her, while instructing my children to leave the room. My father stepped in, said it would indeed be better for her to leave, and told my brother that he was sorry, but that this is unacceptable. My brother agreed, took his family home, and has since called me to apologize and to say that the wedding planning has been put on hold until she comes to her senses. So, thanks for the input and help all. I'm happy it didn't end up all too dramatic. Update 2 months later. Hi all. I have a bit of a need for advice, but in order to get there, backstory and context are necessary. It might turn out to be quite the read. It all started roughly a year ago, when my brother, Nick, and his fiancée, Amy, started planning their wedding. They both approached me and asked me if they could use my property in CO, US, as a venue for their destination wedding. We are European and live in Europe. I happily agreed, but had some stipulations as I absolutely adore this home and have spent an unreasonable amount of time and money restoring it, myself. The rules were as followed: no more than 25 guests in total. My reasoning for this was that given that the nearest town hotel is 50 minutes away, people would be spending the night at my house. This was per Amy's wishes. Not only was there no physical space, that many people would already be an absolute disaster for my septic system. No permanent altering of anything in or around the property. This because it's my property, that I work hard on, for, and I decided so. Because of my protectiveness of the property, I picked, made, paid for caterers and decor, in order to ensure no damage. The happy couple agreed, and planning proceeded. As the day drew closer, I was contacted by the bride with the following demands. She needed 45 guests, not 25. She wanted me to paint the, freshly restored mind you, beautiful oak white, so it would be more wedding-y. She wanted me to pay for her family to fly in, as I was loaning my other brother the money to do so. I refused. Words were had. For example, she called my adopted children rescues. I took back my offer and canceled all I had booked, and my brother postponed the wedding. Well, the wedding was yesterday, and to my surprise myself, and all of my children were invited. I, at first, declined, but was eventually mellowed down by the fact that it was my little brother's big day. I went last-minute shopping so we would be able to adhere to the dress code and even texted the bride photos of the outfits. Is this okay? She was very civil, very polite, and even seemed grateful that we would show up after all. The wedding starts. My brother, his wife, and their children all look extremely happy and beautiful. It was a beautiful wedding, and I began to think that all the dust had settled. Until this morning. I woke up to a text message from Amy, explaining that she and my brother were both very disappointed that I hadn't gifted them the amount in cash that I would have spent on decor and food had the wedding been in my house. I am yet to respond. Frankly, I'm hurt, because I thought they were reaching out to repair our relationship. Instead, they just wanted me to gift roughly 10 times of what I gifted them, despite me already losing out because of the deposits. So, I am considering NC and completely walking away. I would miss my nibblings immensely, and I dread the idea of dividing my family like that, as our parents and extended family would be forced to navigate around the whole issue. But at this point, I am just so hurt and angry. So, to those of you whose relationships survived the whole Bridezilla saga, what did you do? How did you do it? Was it worth it? Final update 1 day later. As many of you suggested, I contacted my brother and, in the midst of small talk, asked him if he was pleased with my gift. He expressed being surprised with the fact they still got one, given the fact that I had already lost money, the deposits. When I tell you, my blood boiled. Now, I have never, in my life, done something petty. Recovering people-pleaser here. But in that moment, I decided to return the assholery and kind family dynamics be damned. First of all, I told my brother. He apologized and told me to ignore it. I told him I would not be doing that. He said, "Well, I can't stop you," and said he'd never take away my spot in my nibbling's life. So I screen-grabbed everything and took it to social media. I tagged her, my brother, our parents, her siblings and parents, and went on this incredibly passive-aggressive, childish rant on how I wanted to avoid misunderstandings within my social and family circle. And how sorry I was. My efforts weren't to the bride's liking. My post went up about 3 hours ago, and the only message I've opened so far is my brother's, stating, roughly translated, "Woke up and chose violence, huh?" He doesn't seem to care. I will be going NC with my sister-in-law for the foreseeable future, and am now 100% done with this nonsense. Thanks for the advice, all. What do you guys think? Let's discuss in the comments. Follow and like for more stories.